Right, today is Monday, July 20th, 2020. This is the Kubernetes CSI implementation meeting. So on our agenda is our 119 status. So Kubernetes code freeze has passed and the docs deadlines have also passed. So I believe everything that we needed to do there has merged. So now the focus is to focus on all the work that we need to do for the sidecars, and so that we can release all the sidecars around the same time that 118 is also released. So I think first up on this is storage capacity tracking.
Michelle, can I interrupt you for a sec?
Yeah.
Am I the only one who's hearing a little bit of audio distortion?
Yeah, same here. Some.
Oh, really?
Okay, it's on Michelle's end.
Weird.
Yeah, it's just a little distorted for some reason.
Let me see. Is this sounding better at all?
No.
Same.
No. That's weird. I didn't change anything about my mic setup.
Could the volume be too high and it's clipping? Or?
My volume?
Yeah.
Let's see. Sound settings. Input. Hello.
It's doing the same. Yeah.
How about?
I don't know. We can understand
how
you.
about now?
It sounds weird.
How about now?
Still.
Is that any better?
No.
Is this any better?
But I mean, it's not terrible either. So maybe just carry on.
Okay. All right. I'll try to debug more maybe later after this meeting. All right. Yeah, so Patrick has a change out in external provisioner. It is, I think Jan has taken a look at it already. I don't know if he's had a chance to address the feedback, but I'll see what the status is on that. For generic ephemeral inline volumes, I don't think there's any more work needed, at least on the sidecars. So I'm going to tentatively mark this one as done. I did not think there was any work needed on the sidecars to support this, but I guess we'll see with some more testing. Let's see, image publishing. I believe they're trying to switch over the image domain today, so we'll see how that goes. And this is like what, the third time or fourth time? Maybe we'll see. Hopefully it's the third time, so I can say third time's the charm. And then I think there's lots of work going on in the CSI proxy repo to start promoting a bunch of the APIs to beta. I think they should be in good shape. They're also getting the CI and image building also all set up as well. Next up is volume health.
Yeah, so we are working on adding unit test. So there is a PR that I need your help to get merged. It's submitted in CSI test. I don't have permission to merge that. It's
okay.
Yeah, so I've already taken a look. I added that in the agenda doc, so you see what that is. And so after that, because I think the unit test we're going to add will be dependent on that one. So it's
okay.
coming. And then, I also submit a PR in the Bowling House repo to enable the cloud image. Can you take a look too? So those two PRs are all added to the agenda.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. I'll take a look at those. Cool.
Okay.
Thank you. Next up is snapshots.
So yeah, so we are making some good progress with the packaging, making that a separate package thing. I think there are just some small things like some documentation and well to run the script. There's certain things that he's trying to address, but other than that, I think it looks good. I think once that is merged, I want to cut another RC so that I'd like people to try it out just to make sure. So I think we still would need to have all the vendor folder populated, right? Because all our tests depends on those, I believe. I don't think we can get rid of them yet, right?
Yeah, I would say keep the vendor folder. That's fine.
Oh, okay.
I think, oh, I'm actually not sure how the vendor folder works when you have multiple Go modules.
So, well, right now they are still at the same, basically we're populating them at the same place. So I'm not sure how, if we don't have them, I'm thinking it's going to fail the test. So.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm fine with keeping it.
Okay, yeah, so that's why I want to cut RCD first and see, and since just to make sure that it actually works, probably need to try to update the provisioner to see if it actually can use this package. Yeah,
that'll be good. And I think I forget if Humble had the PR out to update the provisioner.
I think it's
I remember.
Yeah, so he has a PR that is updated to use 1.18, right? And then Patrick also is doing something. So I think Humbles is probably not updating the snapshotter thing. I think it's mainly updating that so that it's dependent on 1.18 Kubernetes. And then there was a couple of other dependent PRs. I think those are all merged already. Like the provision library, that's already the controller provisioner control library already on 1.18, and the snapshotter that's already 1.18. So yeah, so I think I think he probably just need to update his PR. I believe that should be good now. And I think probably it's Patrick who was saying he's going to update something because he was waiting for the external snapshotter package. So, but he's on vacation, right? So I'm not sure when he's going to use it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there's a couple options avenues we have available. All right.
Yeah, and also I think I also updated my PR. I just some weird unit test errors. I'm basically updating the snapshot error in the status based on the content. There's some weird unit test errors that I cannot reproduce that on my own setup. It's always passing on my identity fields. So it's to figure out.
Are you running everything in parallel?
Yeah, I run make test that should run everything, right? Make test.
Yeah. Okay.
Is that how the unit test running? I tried make test and then tried go test. Yeah, it's strange, but it's only failing on the two new tests that I added. So must be something wrong. I just don't know why I cannot reproduce that on my setup. So it's a little difficult to debug. That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, sometimes you need to run all of the tests in parallel to get some of the funny flaky issues, because sometimes the tests end up other tests end up impacting other tests when they shouldn't.
Okay. Yeah, maybe that's why. Yeah, that's all from me.
All right. Thank you. And then we have volume expansion.
I was trying to find the mute button. Okay, so we don't have any work in progress PRs there yet. I think whatever is there will be merged in 120 now. But we did got a whole lot of done. I'm trying to ping Jordan and Tim yesterday about the recovery from resize failure, the API change, whether the allocated resources field belongs to spec or status of PVC. I didn't hear anything back, so but there's still time to decide that one. And I'm going to set up.
And are there any more changes for the resizer needed?
I was thinking about fixing the issue that Zing reported, which is about the PVC could be deleted while resize is pending. And I have a fix that requires both kubelet change, so that I'll try to get in. It does
Okay,
require a
awesome.
change in kubelet on the nodes in the core Kubernetes as well. So if we can decide if it's small enough to be brought in as a bug fix.
What happens if it doesn't? What happens if you run the fix in the sidecar but not on kubelet?
It cannot work. It yeah, we could do entirely in kubelet maybe. Sorry, we could entirely do in resize controller, but we'll have to watch for the event. I said, okay, I'll think about it if we can do that just in the resize controller. But I'll try to get that PR by this week.
All right, awesome. Thank you very much.
And sorry. And I was planning to schedule a call about like resizing in general for 120, whether we want to, yeah, what we wanted to do. Like the issues that we have, many of them are fixed, but the recovery is still left, and whether we should consider going GA or in 120. We can discuss this in the call.
Okay, sounds good. All right, thank you. Let's see. So that's all the. There's the CSI driver changes that Christian was working on.
Yeah, so as mentioned last week, that did get merged into 119. I submitted a small follow-up PR on Friday to address your nitpick concerns. That is going to need an API reviewer because it does change some of the details in the types.go. And I believe that's it. The
awesome.
CSI docs PR has also opened, but hasn't been merged yet. But that's it.
Okay, sounds good. And then I think one more follow-up thing was to see if we can add some E2E tests for this. I think this will be something we need to do to be able to promote it to beta.
Yes. That is not in the PR that I submitted on Friday, but it is something that I'm working on.
Yeah, that's fine. All right, awesome. Thank you very much. Let's see. And then I think the rest of these items are bug fixes. We can try to get them into 119 as a patch if we want, or if we think it's risky, we can defer it to 120. I think some of these are going to be deferred to 120. Oh, this is something. This one, changing the default number of worker threads in the external provisioner. I think that's something worth investigating since we're doing a major release. I've asked someone on my team to go and start looking at this, so we'll see if we can get this into the next sidecar release. And then, yeah, the rest of these I think are maybe bug fixes that we'll have to sort of investigate on the side and try to get in as a patch. All right. Any other items on the agenda?
So this isn't on the agenda, but I thought I might bug you guys with a problem that I'm currently facing, if you're interested.
Sure.
So because CSI plugins that need to put file systems on a block device in order to deliver a volume to a container, there's no explicit step at which you apply the file system. It's just sort of an implicit thing that's supposed to happen sometime. If you're unlucky enough to have the node die in the middle of like a makefs, so half the file system got written to the block device, but it's not complete, the node dies, pod gets rescheduled somewhere else, and now a new node has to attach this volume to a pod with half of a file system on it. Have you guys figured out what to do in that situation and how to recover from it reliably?
I don't think we do anything to handle that, at least with our entry plugins today. So I think basically when you try, I think what will happen is when you try to mount the volume, it will fail, but then I think it just fails. I don't think we try to recover.
So if you're unlucky enough to have it fail at that step, your volume is just permanently hosed and you have to fix it.
Yeah, I think
That's the
someone has
idea.
to just go in and either delete the volume or try to reformat the file system manually. I think,
Yeah,
Hamant, do you
yeah.
know if the entry plugins do anything special? I did not think. Oh, Hamant's not here. Okay.
Oh, he dropped. I don't know. I might bring
I
this up
did not think.
in a group with a larger audience, but yeah, we have a situation that looks a lot like this, and I started thinking this should be more bulletproof, ideally, because it's only a matter of time till you experience this kind of failure, and it's the kind of thing that the system should be able to recover from in principle. It's kind of hard because it's an implicit step in the whole CSI workflow. There's no explicit like, okay, put the file system on now, call, and there's no state tracking associated with it. It's all implicit, and you have to do your own state tracking. So
Yeah. You can check the code that we have. I'm trying to find it, but there should be some code in Kubernetes, some utility functions in Kubernetes that does the formatting. And I know it has some checks to do, like, it has some checks to do, it checks like the file system format, but I forget what it does when it,
does it use the block ID binary?
Yes, I think so.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know how reliable BLK-ID is in the case of like a half-written file system. If it just matches the fingerprint and says, yes, this looks like ext4 and just returns, or if it has a way of validating that it is in fact a properly formed ext4 file system that's not corrupted.
I think here it calls get disk format. I guess if it's partially written, it's kind of unclear where it's failing.
Yes.
Right.
Exactly.
So here it says, if some existing format is returned, then we do not try to format the disk again.
Right.
So I guess it depends on where in the formatting phase where it fails.
Yeah.
If it failed so that the block ID doesn't actually return a disk format, then we would go and try to reformat it again. But if it failed afterwards, or if it failed with like unknown file system type or something, if it failed with anything, or if it returned anything that's none, then we wouldn't try to format it again.
Right. That if it says, I don't know what this is, then you'll reformat it. And then you have a different danger where if there actually is a file system and block ID just gets screwed up, you can think that there's no data there and you can write over it with a new file system. But that's a different class of problems.
So I think that's why we added this check that it says if it returns anything as the existing format, we don't try to format it again.
Right, right.
There is this thing here where there's this call out to check and repair file system, but I think this is I think it only supports like ext4 and XFS possibly.
When would this get invoked? Check and repair.
Apparently, this gets invoked anytime on every mount.
Oh,
It calls FSCK-A, and it's checking some stuff. Wait, this isn't actually invoking anything. It's just checking.
well, FSCK is something.
It's not repairing.
Like-
Yeah.
Like I'm guessing that it would log something if there was problems, and you would see it in your log. Maybe.
Or I guess does this -A option, does it like attempt to correct stuff if it's found?
Oh, and I don't know. I've never run checkfs or FSCK, so I don't remember what it does or how it works. But yeah, I don't know. We had some customer case where something of this flavor was happening, and it occurred to me that we could potentially have better protections in our CSI driver for this situation, and I didn't know if anyone else had encountered the same
Yeah.
kind of problem.
I think this thing doesn't happen often enough that like I don't know of any CSI drivers that actually go and do something. But I guess I'm also not sure how much this call right here, check and repair file system, I'm not sure how much this is actually helping correct those kinds of issues automatically.
Yeah, I guess it all comes down to, in the bad case where you have a half-written file system, can you recognize that or not? Because yeah, if it looks like there's nothing and you just make FS over it, you're fine. If it looks like there's something, then you'd be permanently stuck because FSCK isn't going to fix it, and you're not going to call makefs again, and you're just going to loop on failure until an admin does something. And that's the case I'd like to avoid, where we can say, oh, okay, I realize that for whatever reason we didn't finish writing the file system, so we'll just try that again. But that requires explicit state tracking in a way that's not easy to do in CSI. So,
well, I guess you would need, you would need something like FSCK to like be able to detect a partially completed file system.
if you wanted to do it without explicit state tracking, if you have explicit state tracking, you know whether you've written the file system or not, and you can pick up where you left off when you get another publish call or stage call.
Oh, that's true.
So that's kind of a more reliable way to solve the problem than just looking at what you've got and trying to figure out what it is. But yeah, I mean, that may be the other approach, is do a proper FSCK, see if it gives you clean results, and if not, decide whether you want to reformat or fix or how to proceed.
Yeah. I do recall, I think both Jan and Hamant talked with some of the Red Hat file system folks that like actually maintain ext4 and XFS, and apparently they were saying, we shouldn't. They were saying we shouldn't actually go and run FSCK every time we mount.
Oh well, yeah. I mean,
so
I'm surprised to find out that we do that anywhere. So that's
yeah,
not what we do.
but
in our
that's
CSI
apparently
driver.
Yeah, but I think that's what the entry code is currently doing, and I think So I guess those file system folks told us that we shouldn't do it, and I guess now we're trying to think about, well, what was the problem actually? What problems were we actually solving before? Is it safe to remove this, and what could potentially be reintroduced if we did remove it?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, if it's automatically fixing
But anyway,
problems,
I think I think Hamant and Jan might have some more insights on this too, since they had discussions internally with their own file system folks.
Yeah. All right, maybe I'll bring this up again when there's a larger audience. Just curious.
Sounds good. Or like if you want to shoot out an email to SIG storage or the Slack or something.
That's not a bad idea. Yeah. Asynchronous discussion.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Thank you.
Any other topics? All right, then we will end the meeting for today. Thanks, everyone.
Thank
you.
you. Bye.
Thank you all.
Bye.